Hi there guys, Gareth here and welcome to this Vino Plunk production. So in this video I'm going to be revealing the camera, the DSLR camera that I bought, that I referenced to in my last video. I'm going to be speaking about some stuff that's happened over the last little while, over the last week or so, and about some stuff that has been happening. So first and foremost, you notice there is some washing behind me. Yes, heaven forfend, this is a spare room that I happen to use as my recording room, and yes, we use it for spare room type things such as drying clothes. That error recently came from my mum and I'm using it to dry my clothes. Shock horror! I've broken the illusion of the room that I use to record my videos. I'm not going to apologise for you seeing my washing drying on an error, but some people sometimes have a problem with seeing, washing or, evidence that you actually live a life in your videos. So if that offends you, there are plenty of other videos you can watch on YouTube. If it doesn't offend you, then keep watching. So first and foremost, the camera that I actually did end up buying is a Pentaxs K100D. So there are reasons why I decided to buy the camera that I'll get to in this video. Very quickly, a lot of photography channels on YouTube that I've watched over the years do tend to do this, what can you get for $300? What kind of DSLR can you get for $300? Or what kind of DSLR can you get for $100? Or so on and so forth. In fact, a video that recently piqued my interest was someone for €80, the equivalent of $80, sorry, is in krona. I think he lives in Finland. He bought a D80, Nikon D80, yes, for the equivalent of $80, which is actually a dang good deal for the kind of camera that is, and that really piqued my interest. And over the years, a number of channels, photography based, focused on her channels, have done this whole what kind of camera can you get for $60, for $100, for $200 or pounds, depending on where they come from. One of my favourite channels back in the day was DRTV, or Digital Rev TV, in which they did this quite often. They often did the whole what can you get for this amount of money. And the whole point of all these photography channels is basically to clue you into the fact that it's not about the equipment, it's about the person behind the equipment. Even if you're using a 15 to 20 year old DSLR, you can still get some cracking shots out of that camera if you know what you're doing. And often on Digital Rev TV they have a series called Analog Rev TV, which they shoot with analog cameras, SLR cameras and stuff like that. And I used to thoroughly enjoy all of that, but then Locke and Kai left, so that all went down the drain. Another camera focused YouTube channel I used to watch was the Camera Store, or the Camera Store TV, I think is also known as. And excuse me, I do apologise, I'm burping all over the place right now. That or hiccuping maybe. So that particular channel I was liking for quite some time, until they did a video where they bought a used Canon EOS 300D, really old Canon, like a 15-year-old Canon at that point. Long story short, the presenter of that YouTube channel basically concluded that he didn't like using an old camera, and that all of the mod cons and the ease of use and the quality of life improvements that modern cameras give you far outweigh the clunkiness and the novelty factor of you trying to use an older camera to do what you want to do. That really did piss me off and piss a lot of people off. You go to the comment section on that specific video and you're going to get a lot of people raging about how he was very snobby and snooty about people who buy used or older equipment because it's either fashionable or it's trendy to do so, or it's a challenge, all this kind of stuff. They're basically, what he's trying to say is save up for a decent camera and get a decent camera. He doesn't understand this whole, it's the person, not the equipment. they're very much equipment. But you've got to realise where this channel is coming from. It's called Camera Store TV because they've actually got a camera store, fun enough, in Alberta, Canada. Calgary, sorry. Alberta's in Calgary, isn't it? In Calgary, in Canada. And they're trying to, they're showing off these cameras, but the end goal is for you to buy the cameras at the end of the day. And if they're showing off an old Canon you can no longer buy inside their store, of course they're going to try and push you towards newer equipment because they're trying to flog newer equipment. Whereas DRTV, although they did have a site you could buy stuff from, whereas DRTV and all these other channels aren't trying to push equipment or trying to get you to buy stuff. So it's no surprise really that they don't really care one way or the other. So I've been watching a number of these videos for a number of years, and I've been thinking, I want to buy a cheap DSLR and see what I can do with it. The problem with that is the prices of DSLRs fluctuate violently, depending on what you buy, when you buy it, how you buy it, all that kind of stuff. A number of years ago, I did manage to almost acquire a Nikon D7000, which is a bloody lovely camera, and I have wanted a D7000 for quite some time. What basically happened is I found it on eBay, and it was a best offer. I managed to get it for £110, which is actually very good for a D7000, and I was then going to go and get a Sigma 50-300 lens to go onto it. So it's one of those instances where I submitted the best offer a couple of weeks before I was going to buy it, and the person said, yep, no worries, I'll keep hold of it. When I went to go and pay for the item, it wouldn't go through for whatever reason. So I manually paid the person through PayPal because I'd been given their PayPal information. They'd sent me an invoice 2 weeks previously. So I had their PayPal email. So I sent them the money manually. Literally, as I was on my way back from a shop down my city centre, having bought the 50-300 Sigma lens, I got I got a message from eBay from this seller basically saying that I'm not going to give you the camera because you bollocksed up the PayPal order. I'm just going to cancel it, take the money, and I'll find someone who's actually intelligent enough to work this all out. I was pretty pissed off, I'll be honest with you, and I didn't send anything shitty back. I tried to appeal to their good side, all this kind of stuff, and they weren't listening. I should reveal at this point they were a known photographer. They were a female, well-known photographer here in the UK. At least when I looked up their sites, I realised they were a well-known photographer. And they then sent back a subsequent message literally a couple of hours later after the whole thing had blown over and I'd gone back downtown to return the lens and all that good stuff. I got a message from the seller basically saying that, how on earth do you intend on using a D7000 when you can't even complete a eBay transaction properly. They were being quite arrogant, what's the word? Arrogant. That's the only thing I think of. They were being snooty, they were being condescending, they were just being everything they can be to try and irk me. They were really pissed off with this. And from the way I understand it, looking at her site and looking at who she was and all that kind of stuff, I think she's used to things going smoothly. She's used to things going her way because she's the skill, she's the talent. If you were, she's used to people bending over backwards for her. So when she had to, she lost a couple of quid on the PayPal transaction because I did it the wrong way, she was pretty pissed off about that. I also understand from looking at some of her blogs and reading how she presents herself, she's extremely money focused to the point where that's why she was still using a D7000 and she's only deciding to move on from a D7000 because it needs a sensor change, and she felt that someone else could do that sensor change and get a bloody good camera. For £200 a D7000 is a bloody good camera. You know, the 110 you pay for it originally, I was going to pay for it originally, and then another £200 a year down the line to repair the sensor would get you a very, very nice camera for many years to come. That's her thinking, and you know, her work went in a direction where she needed to get a better camera. So yeah, basically, long story short, from what I can gather who she was, and obviously I'm not going to name her for reasons, she's used to things going her way, essentially, and when things didn't go her way, she gets really shitty about it and gets all diva-y, if you will, and was not very impressed with with the fact that I was not that I was stupid. Also, if you read her blogs and look at some of her vlogs and stuff like that, you also get the impression she's very much someone who doesn't like stupid people. You know, she doesn't like people who come across as stupid or can't do their job properly, or that kind of, you know, the kind of person. She seems like a nice person when you're on a good side, but as soon as you're on a bad side, that's it. I mean, one of the blogs she wrote was about a person who buggered up her coffee order when she was in France doing a photo shoot, and she stormed out of the cafe, refused to pay, and said on the blog she even considered throwing coffee all over this waiter because of what he did with her coffee. So she's unfortunately that kind of person. It's funny because right up until, you know, the sale went through, it didn't go through properly, she was an absolutely fine person. She was absolutely fine, but as soon as it didn't go to plan, that was it, you know. And I'll be honest, that did knock me for six in a lot of ways. A, I didn't get the camera, and B, I had a renowned photographer basically telling me I was dirt, pretty much. You know, you're dirt, you know, that kind of stuff. So I just focused on videoing and that kind of thing, and I didn't worry about photography. Fairly recently, due to some I wouldn't say personal life changes, but some realizations, should I say, and the fact it's now spring and, you know, going to get milder, I was thinking I was going to re-up, you know, reignite the look for a cheap camera, DSLR camera. Well, after looking on eBay and dilly-dallying for quite some time, I went for the Pentaxs K100D. It comes with two lenses. It comes with a kit lens, which is an 18 to 55, no, 18? Might be 18. It could be, anyway, 18 to 55 kit lens and a 50 to 200 zoom lens. This is the zoom lens I'm actually looking quite forward to. It has a top deck LCD, which is something you tend to find in more professional DSLR cameras. It takes AA batteries, which is again something that modern cameras don't take, which a lot of people prefer in some respects, because you can just walk into a shop, pick up some AA batteries, and away you go, you're shooting again. Whereas when it comes to, you know, the proprietary rechargeable batteries that modern cameras come with, you've got to go home and charge them. You've got no choice but to do that. It takes SD cards. The Pentaxs K100D is actually quite a well-known camera, and is actually still quite sought after. I've had 110 for it, for the kit that I got, which is two lenses, the body, a bag, and some cables, and the instruction booklet and the box, which is actually a pretty damn good deal. Unfortunately, it's going to take a bit longer to arrive because there were some complications on the seller's end, but hopefully it will be here very, very soon, and I'll show it off on camera when it arrives. So that's that explanation out of the way with, and I wouldn't need to explain all of that to tell you, I've gotten to now. I did mention in my previous video that I was going to start doing some movie reviews and, you know, start watching some movies. Well, that hasn't happened because something else happened instead. So a chat I'm part of on Facebook, a number of people in that chat love a certain game, and that certain game is Persona 5. In fact, there's one specific person who loves Persona 5 or the Persona series that's in there, and there's a couple other people that are playing through it right now. One of them's just finished it, and one of them's still playing through it. I also have a colleague at work that thinks this is an incredible game. So, I was looking around last week and found that it was $23.99 Argus. I think part of the Easter deals, I think this was. So I went down Argus on Thursday when I got paid, and I picked up Persona 5. Yeah, this has been sucking up my spare time outside of watching Giant Bomb and doing some other things that I like to do. That's been sucking up the rest of my time, and it is. I'm about 12 hours in at the moment, and I'm thoroughly enjoying this game. It is incredible, is one word I would use to explain, to describe Persona 5. Well, I now have Persona 5, and it's on average, 100-hour JRPG game, so I've got a long way to get through that game, so that's going to be interesting. So I also mentioned in my previous video I bought a couple of box sets. I sold some camcorders a couple of weeks back, and then bought some box sets that I want to get back in the collection. The first one was the Tim Burton collection on Blu-ray, which contains Batman Returns, Beetlejuice, Mars Attacks, Pee-wee's Big Adventure, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Sweeney Todd, The Demon Barber of Fleet Street, and Tim Burton's Corpse Bride. And the other one that I'm meaning to get back in the collection for bloody ages is the Alien Anthology on Blu-ray. It's the 6-disc version, not the 4-disc version. It's the budget version that goes around. This is the 6-disc with all the special features and all the good stuff. This is one cracking set, I must say, and it's the Digipack set, which is the one I wanted with the hard outer box, which I kind of accidentally end up getting. But I'm very happy that's back in the collection because I've wanted to watch Alien on Blu-ray again for a long time. I've since found out though that I think I've sold both my Prometheus and my... Actually, I've also sold my Dread Blu-ray. But anyway, I think I sold my Prometheus Blu-ray, which pisses me off quite a bit. However, I do have a few things kicking about, some PlayStation 2 games, some PlayStation 3 games that I'm not going to be able to, especially the PlayStation 3 games, that I'm not going to be able to play. And also I also found behind my TV unit in the back room, I actually found Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, which I haven't played for months. I didn't know it's behind there. So what I'm basically going to do is round all this stuff up together, and then go down CX and get both Prometheus and Alien Covenant, because I haven't yet seen Alien Covenant, which is something I need to correct very soon, because I'm a massive fan of the Alien franchise, and the fact it's directed by Ridley Scott, I would like to see it, to be completely honest. And considering people are saying that it's a lot like Prometheus in a lot of ways, or continues on with the Prometheus story, I would like to see it, because I personally quite enjoyed Prometheus. Also, I also discovered that I have also got rid of or sold Predator, Predator 2, Alien vs Predator, and Alien vs Predator Requiem. And I was like, shit. So I looked on eBay and searched for those films, and it's going to cost me a pretty penny, which I don't have right now, seeing as I bought a camera and Persona 5 and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, all this kind of stuff. I will at this point shout out some people in the chat that I'm a part of. They actually got together and raised a bit of cash for me because they thought I was in some dire straits. I used some of that money to buy a box set, which is the Alien vs Predator Total Destruction box set, which is all 4 Alien films, the 2 Predator films, and then Alien vs Predator and Alien vs Predator 2 Requiem. So it's the whole lot. It's like 8 films in total. I bought that box set. I think it cost me a tenner, something like that, and that will be on its way later this week. And I'm very looking forward to watching some Predator. It's been a long time since I've seen some Predator, and even longer since I've seen some Predator 2 and Alien vs Predator, for that matter. Yes, I've got Alien on both DVD and Blu-ray, because I've got the quadrilogy set in my room, and of course I have the Blu-ray set here. But hey ho, it was actually one of the cheapest way to get the Predator and the Alien vs Predator films. So yeah, that's what's been going on. Basically, this is going to be taking up a lot of my time, and it's very addictive at the moment. But I'm not. I'm trying to balance this by not playing it too much, but playing it enough that I'm not gonna, forget things and stuff like that. I don't want to rush it. That's one thing I don't want to do. I want to take my time, but I don't want to take my time so much that then I forget things and then don't want to go back to it. That sort of thing. So at the moment, it's very much keeping my interest, but we'll see where things go from there. I thought there's one other thing I wanted to mention, but I can't think what it is right now. But yes, that's what's been going on with me. Hopefully you guys are keeping yourselves well and things are going right with you. There will be some reviews coming very, very soon. Maybe a review on Alien. I do have a review of Alien on my channel somewhere. It's privated right now, but I may do an up-to-date one, because if you don't know, Alien is one of my favourite films of all time. That's why I bought these 2 box sets, by the way. It's because Beetlejuice is probably my favourite film of all time, and Alien is probably second on that list. So that's why I bought those 2 box sets. Anyway guys, you know the spiel. Give me a like, dislike on this video depending on your feelings. Put a comment down below if you wish to have a discussion with me or somebody else. Hit the subscribe button. It's big, it's red, it's free. Do it. Hit the bell icon, make sure the quotations are around it, and you receive a notification to your device of choice every time I upload a video. And until next time guys, you've been a very patient audience, and I screwed that one up, didn't I? You've been a very patient and supportive audience, and until next time, guys, please take care.